Supporting your liver for better hormone balance. All right. A lot of people are experiencing hormonal imbalances. It's hard not to in this world with all our liver is up against and the fact that it has over 500 essential functions. So you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for this video because I'm going to go over all of the ways that we can support our liver to obtain better hormonal health. I'm Dr. Sarah, and today is all about liver hormone balance. Now, if you missed my previous video discussing all the many wonders of the liver, as well as this hormone liver link, don't worry, I'm going to summarize briefly for those of you who missed it. And then if you want more details, you can go ahead and check out the link in the video description where I'll have previous videos as well as all of the resources and references in an accompanying article to this video. All right, let's get started. So among the many functions of our liver is how it regulates chemicals in our body. It processes all the blood that leaves the stomach and the intestine. It breaks down, balances, stores, and creates nutrients. It expels bile to carry away our wastes. And it also produces proteins that regulate metabolism, signaling compounds, and various bodily processes. Probably most famously, what you know the liver for is how it metabolizes drugs and harmful compounds, either from the environment, which is getting more and more, unfortunately, toxic, or from our own internal breakdown processes. And then it transforms these into non-toxic byproducts to be excreted. So the liver regulates hormones as well, how the body metabolizes them. There's different bidirectional reciprocal relationships between the liver and your hormones, and the liver and the gut also come into play here, specifically by how the gut microbiome influences estrogen recycling, and that in turn affects how it goes back to the liver to be processed and metabolized. So basically, the liver affects hormones in many different ways. But to summarize, it makes proteins which carry bound hormones throughout our blood, and this affects their availability for cellular uptake and regulates their actions. So basically, when hormones are bound to these proteins, they're inactive, but they need them to be carried to where they're supposed to go to be active. And because they're so powerful, we only need a tiny bit amount being active at once. Now, the liver also interacts with hormones through this estrogen recycling process through its relationship with the gut microbiome, which actually there's specific bacteria in our gut that help break down estrogen, called the estrobiome. It also is a major site of hormone metabolism. It converts thyroid and other hormones into their active and inactive forms. So a lot of people might be addressing their thyroid. Maybe they've heard of the thyroid gut axis, but maybe not of the liver thyroid axis. So that's something to consider. And it also influences in general bodily processes that impact hormonal balances, such as nutrient storages, right? We need nutrients to make hormones, and we also need proper blood sugar balance. So the liver is involved with our blood sugar. So again, if we're not looking at our liver for overall health and how this impacts our hormones, we're missing out. So how do we even know when our hormones are imbalanced? Let me go over with you, now that we've gone over some of the liver's main functions and summarize this liver hormonal link, some of the symptoms of hormonal imbalances overall, and then for males and for females. Then we'll look at some testing for liver health, as well as some lifestyle, nutrition, herbal, supplement, nutrient, and essential oil support that you can do for your liver. So that's where we're going to go now. All right, so let's look at some general effects of these hormones. Now, when your hormones are imbalanced, a lot of things can go awry. And this is because the endocrine system, which is the name of your hormonal system, uses hormones to control and coordinate all these interactions in the body. And they're powerful, they're specific, and their impact is far-reaching. So hormones regulate our metabolism, things such as blood pressure, blood sugar, temperature, cellular energy processes, all are related to our hormones. Reproduction, fertility, and sex drive, which is what most people think of for hormonal health, especially sex hormones. Growth and development. Responses to injury, stress, infections, or environmental factors, those are interplayed with our hormones. Think of cortisol for stress, right? And then mood. Our process of our mood is regulated by our hormones. Hormones actually interplay and interact with our brain, as well as different neurotransmitters. So these tiny chemicals, their production, their transport, their utilization, and removal from the body is tightly regulated because of the impact they have on our body. And this is why the health of our liver is paramount, because remember, this is the hub for hormone activation and activation, metabolism, regulation. So this is why there can be so many different impacts when our hormones are imbalanced. So overall, if you are being good to your liver, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, you're going to win out in just balancing your overall health and also your hormones. So there are about 50 different hormones, and they all regulate all these different processes. So again, depending on which hormone is imbalanced will determine the specific symptoms. But let's go over some general metabolic effects, right? What's affecting your overall metabolic function in your cells and in your organ systems. So people with hormone symptoms could experience alterations in their heartbeat, weight and body fat distribution changes, fatigue or energy issues, digestive issues, could be constipation, could be diarrhea, could be increased stool frequency, numbness and tingling in the hands and the feet, high cholesterol. Remember how the thyroid and the liver are linked? I went over that in the last video, and the thyroid is specifically involved in lipid metabolism. So sometimes cholesterol levels are high related to a lower functioning thyroid. We want to think about things such as mood changes for hormone imbalances, depression, anxiety, intolerance to cold or warm temperature. Again, we're thinking of body regulation with our hormones, body temp regulation, coarse or dry hair, thin and moist, or then on the other end of the spectrum, dry or coarse skin. We have skin thickening and darkness that can occur on the back, the side of the neck, or in the armpits. This is called acinus nigricans. It's a sign of high cortisol or insulin, sometimes diabetes. So something to check out. Small skin growths can also, skin tags, they've been correlated to insulin issues, excessive thirst, and frequent urination. These are all metabolic effects of hormones imbalances. So as you can see, again, we really want to take care of our liver, and we really want to take care of this metabolic impact with our hormone-liver interaction. Now, female sex hormone imbalances, people who are biological females can have an imbalance in some of the main biological sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and androgens. This can cause some common symptoms such as acne on the face or the body, loss of hair, heavy periods, excess body hair, hirsutism, which is called, hot flashes, menstrual cycle irregularities, changes in the libido, which is your interest in sex, fertility issues, vaginal dryness, or what they call atrophy, sleep issues, and brittle bones. Those are some common symptoms for the biological female. For the biological male, can have an imbalance in testosterone or other hormones correlated to that. Symptoms for men can be decrease or loss of body hair, erectile dysfunction, enlarged breast, which are called gynecomastia, fertility issues, decline in a muscle mass, infertility, and lower libido. Now, how do you know if your hormones are off? There are specific tests you can do specifically for hormones. Again, they all have their caveats. You can do a blood, saliva, and urine. In my other video on hormonal health, again, I'll paste the link in the video description. I go through some of these tests in more detailed. You really kind of want to get a mix of them all if possible, and also monitor them at the same time of day and the same time of you have a regular cycle of that cycle if you're a menstruating woman. And A dried urine test can be helpful because it helps determine hormone metabolites, and that is specifically applicable to the liver processing of estrogen and inflammatory estrogens. And it can also indicate an issue in this estrobolome, which is the gut breaking down of these estrogens. So that is something to check out. Now, for liver health, you have your standard liverized test panels, or you can get them from a comprehensive metabolic panel. These liver function tests will measure the health of your liver if there's inflammation, and can kind of give your doc a means to look more deeply into if these numbers are off, what could be causing it. And then a lipid profile, again, because of this connection between cholesterol being a precursor to hormones. So actually, if you don't have enough cholesterol, you can't really make all your hormones. And if you have too much, it could be because your hormones are imbalanced, specifically thyroid hormone, because it regulates lipids. Some other things you could check out with your doctor, and this is not in lieu of a good health history, as well as with a physical exam, because those cannot be replaced. And remember, what labs will do is tell you, one, to rule out a pathology, two, they should be used if they're going to change treatment, right? If the doctor doesn't know where to go and needs to measure objective data to have a following of if you're making these changes and they're actually making a difference. Especially true for liver function tests, right? So stool tests can be helpful because of this liver gut axis with the estrogen levels. So comprehensive stool tests, which look at gut health, pathogens, digestion, nutrient absorption, inflammation, and immune function, these can all impact your liver and the liver gut axis, which again, another video, but just know that those two interact, and that's important for overall liver health. So we've talked about all of the different roles of the liver, how the liver is specifically involved with hormonal health in those interrelations. We talked about symptoms of hormonal imbalances, both at the metabolic level, then as well as the biological sex of females and males. And then we discussed different tests that you can do to monitor liver as well as hormonal health. Now, we have all this data, we have all this knowledge. What do we do with it? How do we keep our liver healthy? These are general liver healthy things that you can do overall, regardless of what your symptoms are or what your tests say, that are pretty safe for everyone. That being said, I'm not your doctor. I'm just giving you education. So whatever you implement, make sure that you let your doctor know so that they can monitor you appropriately and know any changes, hopefully for the better, right? So let's look at some of these things. A liver healthy lifestyle. That sounds great, right? What does that entail? First of all, it entails taking some of the stress off the liver for all the things it has to detox. So this means avoiding toxins in things we eat, and things we clean with, and things we put on our body. All of these chemicals are going into our skin, entering our system, and our liver has to filter it out. So things such as eating organic foods, or going to the clean 15 foods, which have less pesticides. You can look that up at the Environmental Working Group website. You can also look up their Skin Deep database, which tells you how toxic personal care or cleaning products are. You really want to try to go for natural products for this reason. These products that have all these synthetics can have what they deem termed endocrine disruptors in them, and they're just what they say. They can interfere with hormone production and regulation. So one of the things that we can do for our liver health is to just start replacing some of these maybe personal care products, or some of the things in our fridge, and some of the things we clean with more natural products that have less toxins in them. You can actually get products that don't have a warning label of danger, death, call 911, but to just say dilute with water and monitor for symptoms. That's a good sign that it's probably pretty safe to use. Another thing that's good for your liver is moving your body. Of course, movement, exercise, whatever you deem to be healthy and in good fit for you is very good for your body, because it positively alters your microbiome, not to mention all the mood and all of the other metabolic effects it has. But this will support gut health, which will support that liver gut axis. You want to be careful of certain medications. especially if you're taking overdosing on over-the-counter medications such as Tylenol. That can be pretty toxic for your liver. So read the warning labels carefully. You take proper dosage. Just be aware of that. Coffee can be helpful for the liver. There's been correlational studies between people who drink coffee and liver health, which is great news. Now, if you're a slow metabolizer of caffeine, some people have genetic variants where they will not be able to metabolize the coffee as quickly, and so they get jittery and it builds up in their system more. You can either find that from a genetic test, or you probably know if you get jittery from coffee. You probably want to avoid it in those instances and go for decaf, because you have to benefit the risk rate, the harm risk and positive benefit ratio there for you. Sleep is not only effective for everything in the body, but also your liver, and it also modifies the microbiome. So again, you're looking at that estrogen, estrogen, liver hormone link. And then stress, right? We always want to manage our stress because we're never going to get rid of it. We can change our perceptions, and we can also do things that can moderate the effects, including how stress can impair liver function because it can damage the inner lining of the intestinal wall, which again impacts the liver gut axis. So things like meditating, exercising, breathing techniques, journaling, essential oils, all these things can help you reduce stress for better liver hormonal balance. So those are some liver healthy lifestyle. And if you get nothing else from this video, just think of ways that you can decrease the stress on your liver by maybe incorporating some more healthy, natural products and foods into your diet when it's available and accessible for you, and that'll help your liver and your hormones. You'll do great to start there. Also, filter your water. Nutrition wise, here's another thing that might perk your ears up that's might not be as easy for people, but many of you are probably already doing this. Take the challenge to start eating more green leafy vegetables for liver love. This positively impacts your liver detoxification and hormone metabolism, specifically cruciferous vegetables. Those are things like broccoli, cauliflower, mustard green. Those contain phytonutrients, specifically for the scientific geeks here, glucosinolates, which are converted to bioactive isocyanolates, and those regulate liver enzymes involved in detoxification. The polyphenols are compounds found in fruits and vegetables. They also favorably affect liver metabolism, particularly in estrogen processing, and they're great for your gut microbiome. Nutrient antioxidant rich foods. So again, we're thinking of these plant-based foods. Human clinical research does suggest that diets that are high in amino acids, which are compounds found in protein sources, vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and whole foods can enhance glutathione, which is your master liver enzymes, the antioxidant superb master enzyme. Okay. Those with higher levels of glutathione actually have been found to have a decreased risk of liver disease compared to those with lower levels. Gut-friendly foods, again, you're feeding that microbiome liver gut axis. Think of foods such as fermented foods, polyphenol-containing foods, cocoa, green tea, some of those fruits and vegetables. Fiber-rich foods are all nourishing to the gut microbiome and support healthy digestive as well as liver function. Low toxin foods we talked about, avoiding those hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides that are found in processed foods, which can negatively impact hormones and liver health. So again, opting for some of the plant foods I just mentioned, which provide antioxidants, fiber, and anti-inflammatory nutrients to offset some of these hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides is a good idea. So we do not want to go crazy here and get into a diet culture mentality where we're obsessing and becoming borderline orthorexia, which means it becomes almost a mental obsession to eat perfect. That I don't want you to do, because the risks benefit ratio, again, is not good for that either, especially considering how our mental health affects our physical health. So just be aware about this. Now, as far as key nutrients and supplements, there are a variety, because all of these different pathways that our liver goes through for detoxification and all the things that it regulate need vitamins, they need minerals, they need nutrients to support these liver functions and these enzymes. So things such as the carotene groups, things like you find in carrots, right? Beta carotene, and specific root vegetables or yellow and orange. Lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin, which is found in krill oil actually. Those are all key nutrients to help protect the liver from this stress and inflammatory mediators it produces. Because when your body detoxifies, first it makes it more toxic, and then it breaks it down and makes it less toxic. So we have to protect our liver as that's happening. Vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, copper, zinc, manganese, thiols, which are again found in those cruciferous vegetables, and bioflavonoids. Those are also found in fruits and vegetables. Those are important for nutrients to protect the liver. Other helpful supplements could include N-acetylcysteine, alpha-lipoic acid, polyphenols. N-acetylcysteine, actually, just going back, that's a precursor to glutathione. So it's a great one to have. And I also did a video on NAC for mental health. So you might want to check that out. Xanthocyanins, which are found in blueberries and blackberries, curcumin, milk thistle, pycnogenol, coenzyme Q10. Those are some helpful supplements for liver health. Probiotics are also important. Meta-analyses show that people who have taken probiotics actually have better outcomes in various liver disease processes and pathologies than people who do not. So remember, we're balancing our liver health here. And then let me just do a little quick herbal highlight for milk thistle, because the evidence is overwhelming. In 21 clinical studies with a total of 2,430 participants with liver pathologies, all but 2 studies showed positive effects for milk thistle in various liver pathologies. Finally, okay, so let's just backtrack here. We have a liver healthy lifestyle, right? We have some dietary compounds we can do. We have some supplements. I've provided a list. You might want to check and click that link below or wherever the video description is, whatever media you're watching this on, to get that list in the article. We talked about milk thistle. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about essential oils. Now, essential oils are very high antioxidants for the most part, and they actually, a lot of them have been studied to show how they can actually help protect our liver by making some antioxidants as well as some liver support, okay? So these are more mechanistic and preclinical studies, but some of the ones I highlighted were mint oils, again, for their antioxidant properties, their digestive health. Clove is an antioxidant. There's some preclinical studies that it can chelate metal, which is binding to heavy metals. Rosemary, same thing, also as a DNA protector. Lemongrass has been shown to modulate phase 2 detoxification in liver, again, preclinically. And then fennel oil in little rodents was shown to protect their little livers from various compounds, and including toxicity from medication and chemicals. So there you have it. We have summarized everything you want to know about the liver, as well as how it interacts with our hormones, what hormonal balances look like, how to test for them, how to test for your liver, and then how to support a liver. So phew, congratulations. You've just gotten through a Liver 101 hormone course. Thank you for taking the time to learn about how to love your liver. If we all have happier livers, we will have happier hormones, happier moods, happier health, happier society, right? If you want more information specifically that I teach, make sure you check out the resources in the video description, and I offer free resources there for you. You can sign up for my newsletter, which will give you my most recent videos, as well as my posts, as well as upcoming things that I've been doing and working on. And I also have courses available for both consumers as well as for doctors. I actually teach a course on therapeutic applications of essential oils in clinical practice using functional medicine. So you might want to check that out if you're interested in that. And otherwise, please make sure to comment if you have any questions or anything. Be sure to drop those in the comment section. I will get to them and answer them. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, wherever you're watching this, and I'll be back with more information. So stay tuned. Take care.